I said who created the system. I didn't say we didn't run anything. I challenged a lot of those black leaders, by the way. I said when we talk about the system, what black people have been in charge of any system.
So what is it? Who created or who runs it? Who's in charge usually means who runs the system. But who created the system, that's a whole different answer, whole different situation.
Hey, listen up, everybody.
King.
Churro.
I'm not worried about white people. I'm worried about what's going on with us.
But if there's systemic racism.
Man, I had to go for a walk on that. I don't even need to make any cuts or any extra stuff like that. Like I said, not all black people are for us. And that man right there ain't for us. They also asked him a simple question that this man that's reporting this stuff, that he cut out. He asked him, who made the system? Who made the system? Who runs and who makes the system? He did not want to answer that question the whole time. They asked him a simple question. Who makes the system? Who runs the system? Who was the original maker of the system? Was it black folks or who was it? Who was it? And they don't ever have no clips of that. Man, I'm just asking a question. I want to ask my man there, who makes the system? Thank you.
You know, the same dude that did this.
This is at a elementary school right now. I just want to know, Tik-Tok, how do y'all feel about this? We are rainbows?
Jump into conclusions. Here you are jumping to a different conclusion. And I'm almost for certain, but 1,000% sure that you didn't watch the hour and 45-minute interview. But again, you're looking for clips. I watched the whole thing. These are my clips.
Let me ask you a question. What do white people do wrong, Larry?
What do you mean, what do white people do? I'm not worried about white people. I'm worried about what's going on with us.
But if there's systemic racism in this country, which we know it is.
No, I don't say there is. You say there is. I don't believe that.
Oh, you don't believe there's
No,
systemic
there
racism?
used to be, obviously. Tell me what you think the number one systemic example of systemic racism is in America.
Oh man, there's so many.
Just give me the most important one you think.
At the top of mind, I'd probably maybe say mass incarceration. Maybe.
Really? During the Great Depression, when 50% of black adults were unemployed, you didn't have this kind of mass incarceration. It's the breakdown of the family.
I'm not going to. I agree with the family part. I'm a black man who is a father to his children, and I'm a happily married black man to a black woman. So I'm never going to argue with that part, you know. But I just feel like everything is black with you. Black is wrong. Black people do this and black people do that. And when I ask you what white people do wrong, you said you're not worried about white people at all.
I'm talking about the damage, disproportionate damage going on in the black community. For example, look at these smash and grabs that are taking place in Los Angeles where I live. There's a suburb called Glendale where at a mall recently, a mob of 30 to 40 people, they had masks on, but one guy got popped. He was a black. And I think most of those who were doing this were black.
Shoplifting has been at an all-time high lately. People are walking into retail stores and ripping off all of the clothing tags and simply walking out with them. This is allegedly happening at Nike, Target, and even Ross. Not to mention some are doing this at makeup stores like Sephora and even doing hauls of their shoplifted goods. But it doesn't stop there. People have been going into grocery stores like Walmart and are simply eating food off the shelves without paying for it. There are even videos of people licking the ice cream located in the freezer section and simply putting it back for the next person to buy.
But that does not mean that all black people are bad. All right, just because the white person, whoever that person was that made that little compilation, just because they only got footage of black people doing all this bad shit, doesn't mean that all black people are bad. It just means those people are bad.
And in recent years and times, there have been a number of these in places like Chicago, places like New York. If I were involved in something like that, Charlemagne, I grew up with a dad just as you're raising your own children, I would have been more afraid of my father than I would about the cops catching me. These kids are afraid of neither. They don't have a father in the home. Cops are demoralized. They're pulling back. Their manpower is short. And as a result, you tell a bad guy you're less likely to be caught, convicted, incarcerated, crime goes up. They may be criminals, but they're not stupid. Mm-hmm. When you say, what do white people do? I mean, this is a country that has struggled mightily to get over its historic racism. There was a civil war. There was a big civil rights movement. This is the only majority white country that's ever elected a black president, let alone reelected a black president. The three biggest cities in America are New York, Chicago, L.A. They all have black mayors, even though no city has a majority of black population. The president of Harvard is a black female. Martin Luther King in 1966, Charlemagne, gave an interview to the BBC. This is 2 years after the Civil Rights Act of '64 got passed. And he said, I'm amazed at how many positive changes there have been in America in the last 2 years. Why, if things keep going like this, we could have a black president in about 40 years' time. Mm-hmm. Do the math. Right on cue, Barack Obama, elected 2008. He didn't say there'll be a black female president of Harvard, and there has been. He didn't say there are going to be black CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, and there have been several. He didn't say the percentage of the House would equal the percentage of black people in the population, and it does. He didn't say the three largest cities would have black mayors, and they do. He didn't say the largest and most prestigious organization of doctors, the American Medical Association, would have 2 black presidents, and there have been. He didn't say the most prestigious organization of lawyers, the American Bar Association, would have 2 black presidents, and they have. He said president, meaning at that point, I can feel that I've reached the mountaintop, which is the speech he gave right before he got assassinated the day before. And now we act as if Barack Obama never even got elected. And we're still talking about systemic racism. It's not fair. It's wrong. And you're discouraging black people from working hard. 1990.
Okay. Mr. Elder, a quick question. Let's just remove the word racism, since that seems to be a word that triggers, a conversation down the water hole. Let's just focus on the word system. Okay. You mentioned that the system was the one that discouraged. And again, we have no problem with agreeing that the family, the black family, should certainly has some room for some improvement. But let's just focus on system.
Room for improvement?
System. Well, we're not going to go down that water. We're not going to go down that water hole. Let's get to the question. So the question is, you said that the system encouraged black women to be single mothers, correct?
I said the welfare state, yes.
The welfare, the system. So who's in charge of the system? Who was in charge of the system?
Well, it was Democrats that passed it.
And who were Democrats? Were they black or white at that time?
Well, at the time, majority of black people were Democrats, as the majority of black people are Democrats now.
Not the voters. I'm talking about the system. Remember, the main idea is the word system. Who was in charge of the system at the time? The Democrats at the time, the system. I'm just going to Charlemagne's point about white or black. Was it white Democrats in charge of the system or black Democrats in charge of the system?
All right, so we haven't understand it, right? Her bottom line, she doesn't care about anything else. What were the politicians? Were they white or black? Don't matter what system, they're just running the system. Doesn't matter if they're a Republican or Democrat. Were they white or black? All right, that's what she wants to know. In the system, were they white or black?
Well, if you're prepared to say that Lyndon Johnson did this viciously with an intent to destroy the black family, I disagree. He did it with the best of intentions.
No, Larry Elder, that's not what she means. We're trying to be cut and dry here. Are they white or black? That's what they want to know.
And if you look at the New York Times, which is left wing, the Washington Post, which is left wing, they cheered all of this.
Right. And what I'm asking was it white people? So I'm going to ask again in case my mic's not coming through clearly. Was it white people in charge of the system or black people in charge of that system that helped break down the black family? It's a simple yes, just a simple question. White or black?
Well, you didn't have to go on welfare unless you voluntarily chose to go on welfare. The inducement was put there by Democrats, by the left.
Correct. Okay. Democrats,
most black people were Democrats, and they voted for these white people.
Not voters. I said who's in charge of the system.
Well, who puts them in charge?
Was Lyndon Johnson white or black?
Who put them in charge?
Maybe that'll help you.
Fine. Lyndon Johnson was white.
Thank you.
Okay. But if your argument is that the reason he did it is because of racism, then I disagree. He did it because of...
That's not my argument. I just asked you a simple question. Was he white or black? Charlemagne?
And let's take out race. Let's keep in the system. But then let's talk about race.
We're agreeing.
No, we're agreeing to two different things. We're not agreeing that there's not systematic racism because we're not in charge of the system, sir. In case you
Okay, all right.
Black people have never been in charge of any system.
Well,
we're not
actually, we have been. Take Baltimore.
No, we've never been in charge of
may
any
I finish?
system. Tell me, what financial system are Black people in
Okay,
charge of? What healthcare system are Black people in charge of? What government system are Black people in charge of?
I'm about ready to tell you.
What prison system are Black people in charge?
I'm about ready to tell you.
I'm not talking about mayors. I already know that talking point, sir. I go on Fox News all the time as well. So let's not go there with that. I said, what system have we created? Have we implemented that we have been in charge of? Name one.
Okay, so she wants to know what Black people have created, what Black people have implemented, and what Black people have been in charge of. So they had to run all of these criteria in order for him to prove she's wrong. You have to have all of these. And let's be honest. White people created a system. Black people have joined white people to implement them. And then there have been Black people that have run the system.
Is this why you don't like talking to Black women, Larry Elder?
Wow. Baltimore. Freddie Gray a few years ago.
No. That's mayors. I'm not talking. I said system.
I'm going to tell you about this system if you allow me to finish my point.
I'm not talking about somebody elected and doing a job, sir. I asked what system did we create? What financial system?
Okay, let's talk about the system of one of the largest.
Let him say his point,
thank you.
Sir.
One of the systems of one of the largest cities in America, Baltimore. Freddie Gray died in police custody a few years ago. The mayor was Black. The head of the police department was Black. Number two.
It's not in charge of the system, but go ahead.
Number two person in charge of the police department was Black. All of city council, Democrats, majority Black.
Still not in charge of the system.
Wow.
That's a position.
6 officers charged, 3 of them were Black. A judge before whom 2 of the officers tried their case, found him not guilty, was Black.
Still not in charge of the system.
The city intendant of public schools was Black. The county superintendent of public schools was Black. The attorney general at the time, Loretta Lynch, is Black, as was the president of the United States, was Black. And yet,
still not in charge of the system.
So who's in charge of the system?
Okay, wait a minute. So all these people who were elected into an office, who were in charge of implementing all of these laws and whatever else you might have, they were in charge. They were elected to be in charge. But they're still not in charge?
Well, Wanda Sykes said when Barack Obama got elected, how are you going to complain about the man when you are the man? Now, from the president to the attorney general to the state attorney to the mayor to the head of the police department to the commissions of the schools in the city and in the county to the majority of city council in that city, all of them are Black. And you're still saying that we don't run anything?
So who's in charge of the system?
No. I said who created the system. I didn't say we didn't run anything. I challenged a lot of those Black leaders, by the way. I said when we talk about the system, what Black people have been in charge of any system. I'm not talking about a position. I'm not talking about a mayor. You know good
so
well
you're basically saying that they're Black faces that are still in those positions, but they're still being a part
Similar
of the
to you, Mr. Elder. You're a
so-
Black face in a position in the conservative movement. They're just the same. They're just on the other side.
So, to my fellow custodian in the same school district I work at, Douglas Johnson, DJ. Again, I'm 1000% sure you did not watch the entire interview. You were looking at clips. You were looking at whatever clips people wanted to clip for you, right? The message was unclear because Larry Elder was trying to prove why he was a good candidate for presidency. Larry Elder, as of late, has been banned from the GOP. So the Republicans already shut him out. He was the only Republican that was willing to defend Donald Trump and during this whole indictment shit in Georgia and whatnot. So again, you're not very political, which is fine. No one's asking you to be. But if you're gonna comment on political shit, know your shit. Just saying. You know, not too long ago, this city of Palm Springs, where you're from, right? Where you live, we grew up, all that. City of Palm Springs had a transgender mayor. And I'm going through your TikToks, and I'm not seeing anything about your offense or your denial of your transgender mayor. Even though you don't like the fact that they're pushing the rainbow agenda on the children. And then so you find ways to make it an issue when it's not an issue in the first place in the Coachella Valley. All I'm saying is get your shit straight. Larry Elder could be a good candidate for presidency. He could be a unifier if he really wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people hate Larry Elder for the fact that he's a Republican because he's a conservative. And it's funny to me because people say that, you know, that people who cry about racism tend to always hate black conservatives. And I don't understand that. It's like the black conservatives are the anomaly, right? They're the people who you don't think would be conservative. But the thing is, black people have conservative values. Latinos have conservative values, right? Any immigrant, Asian immigrants have conservative values. But y'all hate anybody who's conservative that's not white. Y'all hate white conservatives too, but that's not a problem. That's not an issue. You know, that's ongoing. But when a black conservative presents himself, you hate them too. Anyway, it's your boy King Churro. Thank you for watching. This is a long ass video, I don't know, but and I'm sure it's gonna get copyright claimed by YouTube and all this other stuff, but I want to keep it. Hopefully I can keep it. You tell me in the comments what you want to tell me. Yeah, man. It's your boy King Churro. Thanks for watching. Remember that you're loved, and remember to be great every day. It looks like I'm about to take a nap because I am. I work today from 2:30 to 11, going to 2 different schools. So
every day you wake up, you got a decision to make. To go right or left, up or down, right or wrong. At the end of the day, you make the decision. Nobody forces you. So make the right decision. Make moves, set the goal. Stop making excuses, man. And if it look like a duck, walk like a duck, and sound like a duck, it's a duck. Stop guessing. Just do the right thing. You heard? You hear me? I love y'all. Stay positive. Love one another.
All right.
So one evening I came home from work and I saw this TikTok, and so of course I made a stitch, right? This fool comes to work the next day.
You know, I could beat you at bowling.
I'm like, okay, that wasn't me bowling, that was my friend.
But I'm just telling you, I could beat you at bowling.
I was like, but you didn't see the rest of the video, did you?
Nah.
I'm like, the rest of the video says this, bro.
You know the old saying, you're either good at sex or good at bowling.